Yeah, I know. It's an online meeting and people probably won't see my shoes. But who knows?
Good morning, dear members of the jury, Associate Professor Dr. Roy Balakrishnan, Dr. Asita Binte Ismail, and Supervisors Associate Professor Dr. Stuart White. Thank you for taking the time to join us today for the PhD proposal defense of Dilsa Patil. Ms. Dilsa will present for 20 minutes and we will then open the floor for feedback and questions. Without further ado, I will now pass the floor.
Thank you everyone for listening to my presentation. I will now take your questions.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a few concerns about your writing style and methodology. Firstly, you need to write your report more objectively. There's too much of your opinion on the report. You have to avoid bias, so you have to change the writing style to make it objective, like research and not a novel. You have to make it more systematic and structured.
I understand, but as I explained during my presentation, this research is guided by an interpretivist paradigm.
Paradigm does not matter. Research has to be like research, and that means being objective. If you write like this, then it is not acceptable. It is not an acceptable research as well. So I suggest you change it. It does not matter qualitative or quantitative. There's a proper way to write a research, and you have to write it the proper way. You should also have a few hypotheses in your study. Only qualitative is not enough to come up with generalizations. You need to have statistics to prove the relationships so that your research can help the industry and the economy.
I understand, but this is the first of such a study, and that's why I've chosen to do it more in an exploratory way. And this is one of the main reasons why I've chosen qualitative methodology for this research.
How many people do you plan to interview?
I will interview until theoretical saturation, but if I am to guess a number, I would say roughly about 20 people.
You cannot draw conclusions based on 20 people. This is why just qualitative is not enough. You can consider doing mixed method research. In the real world, actually, you need to get data from both kinds of methods. First, you do your qualitative research like you have explained, and then you can do more in-depth quantitative research to solidify your results. You can create a questionnaire as well to cover more population. This way, your research can be more valuable.
My aim from this research is not to draw generalizations, but to deeply understand the traditional and the contemporary societal constructs that are shaping the reality of the people that I'm studying and the impact of this on tourism.
Do you want your research to sit in library? I guess no. Then you have to make the changes that we recommend for practical purposes. You can discuss this further with your supervisor, but we do expect to see these changes in the revised proposal. I hope that's clear.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. I thoroughly enjoyed. I would like to share my views if possible.
Of course, you can. Go ahead.
I agree with your research approach, and I believe that you are being very consistent to your pragmatic beliefs. I also believe that...
I also have an additional question about your theory. Why exactly do you want to use post-colonial theory in your study?
The reason for this is because the phenomena of tourism in Asia is entangled in colonial relationships. So, in order to understand its current state, you have to connect it to the past, specifically Asia's colonial past. And post-colonial theory enables this critical historical analysis. So that's why I've chosen it as a theoretical basis for this study.
I understand this, but I don't think it is so relevant to tourism then. Maybe, yes, if you were a history major, but you're not. In tourism, you have to do research that will help the industry, and this kind of research does not really help the industry or the economy. I think there are many things about your research you have to rethink and adjust.
May I?
Of course, please go ahead.
I understand the concerns of the other jury member, but I believe that they can be addressed accordingly. I do believe that critical research with historical analysis is important. Perhaps in the race of tourism development and management, it has become redundant and less important, but we have to also look at deeper and perhaps invisible issues that exist in tourism.
If you say so, but in my opinion, research should enable the current endeavors and visions. I leave it up to you and your supervisors to decide.
I don't think we should have such a narrow approach to research. After the critical turn in tourism and various pragmatic wars, we should encourage postgraduate students to consider non-positivist way of knowing.
Okay, if there are no further questions, thank you so much for your presentation and good luck with your research endeavors.
Thank you very much for your recommendations.